I have a little surprise planned for this episode.
Oh, God. Yay!
Listen,
when do I find out?
One of our listeners reached out and told me how they appreciated how weird I was. So.
Oh, my God.
So I'll keep
Did you just make the text really big? No, I did that.
No, for what?
For the...
No, I did. I made it all the same font and at 12 point. Speaking of blind, I can't handle if there's like a serif font and a non-serif font together.
Oh, God. I'm the designer here, so I should actually care about that.
No wonder your eyes hurt.
I know. Okay. I think we're ready to mumble through this.
Where do you want me to throw in the surprise? Because it involves one of our affiliate partners.
I don't know. I don't know what the surprise is. So why don't you just figure it out?
Okay.
Is it a good hook to get people to listen to the rest of the episode?
And I don't know. Sorry. I'm like, my brain fell out. What is that sound? It sounds like you're cocking a shotgun.
It's my neck support. Because I'm old and need neck support. I like how you've been recording this whole thing. You're going to see one day I'm going to listen to them and then you're going to be in big
This
trouble.
is where it's good for me that you don't listen to the episodes. Also, guys, I don't know if that's weird for you to hear, but I know a lot of podcasters that are like that. So,
really? I can't listen to the episodes. I think I said that in our Prima episode.
Yeah. Hi, everyone, and welcome back to OTTB On Tap. I'm Neve.
And I'm Emily. Hey, Neve, what's on tap today?
It's been a busy month so far. Sorry, I thought the dogs were going to come barreling down the hallway. Did I tell you that?
I got some major side eye, guys.
Because I was like listening with my eyes. No, there's one of the podcasts that I listen to. The woman has 2 dogs that like to really get yappy when she's recording. And she'll be like, hold on a second. I just have to go kill my dogs for a second. And then you hear her like stomping away and opening the door. And she's just like, shut the fuck up. And then closes the door and just comes back to the podcast mic and is like, so in episode 3.
I have totally done that in meetings at work where I'm like, oh, I didn't realize I was on mic.
Oh, no, you didn't mute it.
I'm just like, Harry, shut up.
You really don't want to believe they're doing it on purpose, but I feel like they are.
I don't know.
All right. It's been a busy month so far in the OTTB world with the Retired Racehorse Project Makeover finishing up over the weekend and the Maryland 5-star 3-day event right around the corner. We're going to check in and do a roundup of everything that's transpired and what to look for in the coming weeks.
We also released our first episode in a series called OTTB On Tap Evaluates last week, which was so much fun for the two of us to research and write together. We took listener-submitted horses, just their conformation photo and jockey club name, and evaluated what we found of their conformation, pedigree, and what we thought they'd be suitable, what they'd be like, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it was seriously so much fun because it's something that Emily and I do on our own already, and we've been doing it for years. And so to actually get specifically submitted photos to pick apart and then knowing that we would be able to find out some information about the horses later is really cool. So we're just going to go over how that episode went for us and talk about some of the feedback that we got from the owners themselves.
Yeah. So first up, and you can go back to episode 40 to hear the whole thing, but here we will get the owner commentary. We had Baybuilt, a Bay 2012 gelding. He'd better be Bay. 2012 gelding by Love of Money out of Royal Roughneck by Mech. He was submitted by Austin Gage. And here's what she had to say after listening to the episode. She said, Baybuilt is a dressage horse. I was laughing at your assessments about his jumping. He does indeed have very snappy knees, and he's completely unaware that his hind end also has to jump. His neck does make a very pretty picture in dressage, though his throat latch is a bit thick and causes issues with connection if he's not relaxed enough. And he's been barefoot since I took him off the track. His feet were initially a bit long and low, but mostly in good shape. He honestly has had very good and easy feet most of his career. now that we're knocking on upper level type stuff, he might finally need some shoes.
So that's a really cool update to find out that he is starting to move up to the upper levels of dressage. It's very interesting hearing about the throat latch that we both commented on and made, sort of an observation about. But yeah, that's really cool. I could see him doing really well in the dressage ring.
Yeah, he just had such a balanced overall picture with that higher set neck that will certainly help in dressage. So that's cool. It'll be fun to follow them and see how they do.
Yeah, definitely. And then the second horse we evaluated was Floo Powder, who was a gray 2011 thoroughbred gelding by exchange rate out of LA Wildcat by Forest Wildcat, submitted by Lane or Laney Schaefer. You can totally correct us, and I will apologize greatly for messing that up.
Says Neve, like Steve.
Yeah. She responded with the best comment. If you haven't listened to that episode, Emily made some assumptions of him being a bit spicy and maybe not for a beginner. And she said, I was cackling over your assessment of his temperament and not being for a beginner because, yep, he's got zero desire to jump, which stinks because she thinks he would be a blast to event because his trot is quite fancy and he's got a huge gallop. He is, in fact, a Western pony.
Yeah, and looking at him, that all makes sense. He just has that little bit lower, longer build, and I could just totally envision him in Western tack running barrels, for sure.
She did say that he's settled enough that she can put her 12-year-old daughter on him and just putters around on him, and he's really good with her. But he very much did live up to the Stormcat stereotype for a long time. And then she very cutely added, he's a good egg, a deviled egg maybe, with some extra spice.
I also liked one of our RRP trainers, Chelsey O'Brien, commented after she listened to the episode that she loved the episode, and especially about Laney Schaefer's Floo Powder, who is a quintessential OTTB barrel horse ambassador for the Western Thoroughbred. She loved hearing all the awesome historical content and really learned a lot. So thanks, Chelsey, for that comment. That was really awesome.
Thank you,
Give us a little more background, too.
Yeah, definitely. And I want to look into more about the Western Thoroughbred because I've been seeing a lot of really great quotes online and they've been referenced back to the Western Thoroughbred. So I think I'm going to have to go do a deep dive on that.
And finally, we evaluated Dragon Moon, who was a Bay 2015 Thoroughbred gelding by Super Saver out of Lunar Gal by Yes It's True. She was submitted by Lydia Gross, but actually we found out her daughter submitted him. Lydia did send us a more balanced confirmation photo afterwards. She actually didn't know that her daughter had entered her horse. However, all was okay. Her comments to us, she sent a picture of him doing dressage. He's an event horse, which is one of the things that we thought he'd be suitable for. I did think that maybe he might struggle a little bit with balance and have more of a forehand balance. And she said, yes, he does struggle with balance and falling on his forehand. But the ladies, us, did an excellent job in reviewing him, very spot on. And then later she said, so funny how you guys talk about what you think he might be like under saddle. He is eventing. His walk and canter are amazing. His trot does lack some balance as he does lean on his forehand. Moon is overall a wonderful family member. He does have some substantial quirks when it comes to buddy sourness. So we have to manage him carefully. I don't know if we would have been able to pick that one out.
No, I don't think so. But, that could just be environmental too. You just never know.
Yeah, absolutely. Dressage is their toughest phase. He struggles to find balance and relaxation throughout the test, which is, much as I love thoroughbreds, a common thoroughbred trait. And of course, his cross country is his best phase. He's a natural born galloper, which for a horse that bred, that sold for that much money, I would certainly hope
surprise.
He's a really good galloper.
Yeah.
Yes, but you never know. She also goes on to say that there was a pause in his race training where he sustained a condylar fracture while he was in Europe. So that's why he came back to the States.
And I think we did make a note
and recovery.
We did make a note of the pause and just said, there was a pause in his, I wonder what that was from. And so that's actually very cool. And as we talked about in our episode with Caitlin Remy, by and large, non-displaced condylar fractures are not really an issue if they're properly surgically intervened and rehabbed. So that's very cool.
So very cool. So overall, our response to this episode has just been really wonderful and really heartfelt. And we would like to keep that going. So if you are interested in submitting your horse for a future episode, there will be a link in the episode notes and on the website on the page. But you can go to the website. It's tinyurl.com/OTTB On Tap Evaluates and fill out. We just have a simple Google form on there where you can enter your horse. That way we can actually keep track of them all.
Yes, because we didn't know that we were going to get such a huge response. And we actually cross-posted it in a couple of different places. As you guys know, we run the Facebook group OTTB Market, and we don't post a lot of podcast stuff in there unless it's something like this where it's something that's been asked for a lot, and it exploded. And so then we were trying to gather everything and organize everything, and I think we did a pretty good job, but this will really help us make sure that nobody gets missed and falls through the cracks. And it also just, we have some stuff in there about just making sure that you understand what our intention is while we evaluate your horse, and we don't ever want to step on anyone's toes or hurt anyone's feelings or anything like that. So it's important to us to keep you guys really happy.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is our opinion, and it's supposed to be fun overall.
Exactly. Next up, we wanted to give some shout outs to some listeners who have reached out to us this week. We're not lying when we say that it means the absolute world to hear from you guys, especially to know how you found our podcast in the first place. And I just remembered who the third person was.
Oh,
so I'm gonna.
Is this the surprise or
no? There's a surprise coming after this, guys. I don't know if you're gonna think it's that fun.
I keep hearing about a surprise. We'll say.
First up, we want to welcome a new listener, Kayla Donovan, who is actually local to us and competes in eventing and dressage with her OTTB Just Chill Out, which is such a good name for an OTTB, aka Levi. He's gorgeous. Kayla gave us some great feedback on some topics that she'd like to see us discuss, including OTTB nutrition recommendations. And we actually already have something in the pipeline for that, so stay tuned. And Kayla, we're definitely going to be keeping an eye out for you and your horse at shows. We'll be stalking around events and things.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just to echo Neve's sentiment, it really just means a lot when you guys reach out. So another quick listener shout out to Jody Follette, who I've been chatting with over the last month or so, or maybe a couple months. She actually got some feedback from me before we started the OTTB On Tap Evaluates series about her OTTB backhand. And she's given us lots of great feedback on topics for future episodes too, including a suggestion that we should do an OTTB On Tap camp. So who knows? Maybe that's something that we could put in the works and think about in the future. Let us know.
And then the last shout out that I want to mention this week, and if we missed any of you guys, don't worry. Emily works a regular 9-to-5 job and has a young horse. I have 6 jobs and co-raise children. We're both managing this ourselves. And so sometimes comments get seen but not responded to. And I want you guys to know that we really and truly try to do our best to get back to everybody, but feel free to nudge us if you don't hear back from us.
Yeah.
Honestly,
we will not be offended.
We will not be offended. But we did hear from a listener this week, and I wanted to give her a special shout out because she's really going through it with her most recent Off the Track Thoroughbred, but her name is Maura Reynolds. Hi. Her email, I'm going to have to ask her to write a proper review for us, specifically because she was so thorough about what she said about her background with Off the Track Thoroughbreds. She does hunter jumper and equitation riding, which is a different discipline than what we're used to. So I think that's really fascinating. She's had some really cool thoroughbreds over the years and a lot of heartache along the way. Her current horse, Leroy, she is actually her own kind of underdog story with him. I'm not going to share any details, but I'll reach out to her and see if she might want to be featured in an underdog episode. But she basically said that listening to our podcast while she's been hand grazing and hand walking and just doing all the stuff that I think really makes you a true horseman in the end of the day, where it's not about riding, it's about all of those moments in between. And I think that's why we love the experience with thoroughbreds, is because there's so much more to it than just the riding aspect. And it feels very cool to know that we're in your ear while you're doing those day-to-day activities and that you feel a little sense of solidarity from us. We very much appreciate you sharing your story with us.
I'm going to shed a tear over here.
I know. No. So we got the email from her the other day, and I don't like to respond to emails like that unless I'm actually on my computer, because otherwise there's just going to be a million spelling errors. And Emily just sends me a text message that says, wait till you see the email we just got. And I was like, uh-oh, did we get our first really negative review, or somebody being like, you guys are the worst? And then I just see this email and I'm just like, oh my God, it's so sweet. She's so nice. We just didn't know that putting this silly podcast together was going to have this kind of impact and touch as many people as it has. And we just hope that continues in the future. If you knew how weird and awkward we both were in real life, you'd never think that we could make all of these connections.
People will have a chance to meet us in real life next weekend. But
this is true. This is true. If you're in town, we'll get to that in a second.
But just terrifying.
So anyways, just to reiterate, please keep reaching out to us. Please keep sending us emails and comments. We really love knowing that you're there, and we love the feedback, quite honestly. So this is a big learning process for us, and we're just trying to figure out what works and what people are really interested in.
And write us Facebook reviews if they're good. Good reviews only. Good. I'm just kidding.
If you're going to leave a 1-star review, please don't, because I'll be crushed. Okay. So I have a little bit of a surprise. Oh, shoot.
Oh, God.
Well, let me see if I have any scissors here. If you've spent any time on our website recently, you'll see that we have a new tab that I think is called Brands That We Love. Is that what it's called?
The tab is called Sponsors.
Okay.
And then if you click into that, it's Brands That We Love.
Well, I just got
true.
A special delivery.
Oh, boy.
So we're going to see what I got. And I'll do some follow-up social media stuff with this. But
I'm super excited.
I'm excited, too. Hold on. Just kidding.
Because my pictures of me wearing these are basically of my kneecap, because I was trying to take the picture myself. And I'm like, look at these really cute breeches that everybody needs to wear.
You're spoiling the surprise, Emily.
I'm trying to fill dead air, Neve.
You don't like all this crinkling in the mic?
Oh, my God. Everybody just hung up.
I know. They stopped listening. Well, they probably stopped listening a while ago, actually. Okay, let me get these things out of the wrappers first. So the brand that we're working with right now is Canter Culture. And you've probably seen their ads floating around Facebook, because last year they had these. They reminded me of Guess jeans from the 90s, but they looked really cool. They were full-length floral pattern breeches, and they looked awesome. So that kind of piqued my interest, because I like patterns and things like that.
And then I bought these houndstooth ones, and just to basically sass Neve.
Yeah, because I basically love anything and everything houndstooth.
So guess what she did?
Yeah. So I got, and what's really cool is like their breeches are high-waisted, which I actually like.
Yeah.
I have a body like a potato. And so I need it. I always have to wear a belt. And so I need something that actually comes up and doesn't roll down. And anyways.
So are you going to try these on live? Do we get to watch?
I was thinking I might.
Wait, that's weird.
It's not really. You can't see my lower half. So I got the black and gray damask, which is
I'm excited about
Yeah,
this.
These are really cool. They have a really subtle bit pattern. That's the silicone on them. And this really nice fabric. Emily's been talking a big game about this fabric, so we'll see what it lives up to in a second.
To me, it's like putting on like a power suit, where I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
I feel like I could walk into a room full of very important people wearing these pants, and I would feel my best.
And then I got the tan houndstooth ones that are so cute.
Ooh, maybe we should wear them to Maryland so we could match.
Oh my God. Everybody would think we were ridiculous. Hold on. I'm going to try them on.
They
standby. Emily's got to kill the dead air while I'm taking my pants off.
So since we've gotten so many new listeners lately, we also would like to reintroduce ourselves in an upcoming episode. So now is your chance to ask us anything you'd like to know about us. Your one and only chance. We're never going to do this again, ever. Drop your questions in the comments and on social media, because we're going to start recording. We're coming up on a year, which is super exciting. And we realized that we were really terrified a year ago when we started recording. And it probably sounds like crap, which I don't know because I've never listened to it.
Right.
So
why don't you tell them what the affiliate code is while I go over here and try these on?
Yes, it's a very complicated affiliate code. So if you go to cantorculture.com.
Hold on. I have them on backwards.
Oh my God. You can't take her anywhere. If you go to cantorculture.com, they have all these really fun prints, but they are very comfortable. You get 15% off with OTTB On Tap 15 as the code, or there is a link underneath that sponsors tab on our website
Take you right
that will also apply that 15% off to you, which is a pretty awesome deal. So you should check it out. All right, Neve, let's see.
Hold on. I got it.
Oh boy.
Gotta get these over to my potato body.
I can see her in the window behind her trying to like pull these on. It's pretty amazing.
I'm like trying to do it off camera so that you can't.
I'm like taking a screenshot right now.
All right, hold on. Let me move my chair. Amazing. Yeah.
You got the petites, right?
I did.
Because
so they cover my belly button, which is perfect.
Yeah. I am super tall, so I did not get the petites, but they are quite long on me.
Yeah, so these...
Even though I'm 5'11" almost.
These are probably a 32-inch inseam, even on the petites.
Okay.
So I'm going to wear them for the rest of the episode.
Is that a threat or a promise?
It was a threat, wasn't it? Listen
You'll
up.
report back.
Yeah, I'll report back about how they feel. And if they roll down or do anything weird, they're amazing. And the fabric is very nice.
Cool.
Why am I out of breath from trying on pants? Don't ask stupid questions.
Don't enter your 40s, noble listeners.
Not recommended.
Mid 40s.
Yeah. Oh God.
All right. Are you happy with that? OTTB On Tap 15.
Yes.
At cantorculture.com.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next phase of our episode today. We want to get a little more serious, and we have major congratulations to our collaborators from the Retired Racehorse Project. It has been just such an honor to be a part of these trainers' collective journeys, and we were cheering from afar. We're so sad that we didn't actually get to go to the makeover this year. Hopefully next year we'll make it one way or another. Maybe on a horse, maybe off a horse, but either way, we're going to plan on being there. And we really want to give a big thank you and shout out also to the Retired Racehorse Project for including us, especially Kristen Kovich-Bentley, who welcomed us with open arms and allowed us to be a part of these incredible journeys. So thank you. And yeah, let's talk about RRP.
I just wanted to quickly echo that by saying we reached out to Kristen very early in the podcast's history. And I don't even know how many.
We were so new.
We were so new. And she really took a chance on us and took a little bit of a risk because they do something really similar with a group of riders and deserve.
Yeah, the Retired Racehorse Radio.
Yeah.
It's their podcast, which is excellent.
And so we felt like we wanted to make sure that we did a good job and represented them well. And I think it all worked out in the end. So.
No, it really is an honor.
So we reached out to our Retired Racehorse Project collaborators with a couple of questions, and realizing that they're all probably a bit horse show hangover, just tired, all been on the road for a long time. We just wanted to get a couple sentences about what it meant to be at the RRP. And so these are the questions that we asked them. The first one was to tell us what it means to you to be a trainer at the RRP representing off the track thoroughbreds. And the second was, what is something surprising or something that you learned at the RRP? This could be about your horse, yourself, or the show itself. The third question was, how do you feel about you and your horse's performance, and what were the highlights? And then the fourth question, which I think is such a useful question, was any advice for next year's aspiring trainers? So first, we're just going to recap about Chelsey O'Brien. Chelsey O'Brien and Pastured Places, unbeknownst to me, kept us on the edge of our seats all week with her tremendous performance. When I reached out to Chelsey to see how things were going, she was just over the moon with UB, and in typical Chelsey fashion, was completely humble about their successes up until that point. I don't want to spoil the details, but I'm going to let Chelsey review and recap those 4 questions with you in her own words here.
This is Chelsey checking in after the RRP with, unbeknownst to me, UB owned by Pasture Place. We had a great week. I'm so thrilled. My horse was fabulous. We were fourth in the preliminaries for the barrel racing, and we actually won one round of the horsemanship pattern, which was my biggest goal going into this. One of the big things that I noticed the year before when I had been there and didn't get to compete was that the pattern classes could really set you up for better or for worse. And one of my big recommendations to people who are doing any discipline is that you really need to get your horse well broke on the flat, good transitions, good discipline-specific asks, such as for the barrels, I had to do a 3/4 turn, a good backup, a good halt, a canter, a lead change. Obviously, you're going to get better points if you do a flying lead change versus a simple lead change, but obviously it's great to have a good clean simple versus half a lead change. You're going to have to do some lope a circle. There's just so many things, and they're posted all year long, so it's something that you should be able to practice all year long, or at least keep it in your mind. Maybe you're not putting it all together until the end, but things that you should be working on is having a good trot, having a horse really listening and broke off of your seat and your leg, not just your hand. So that was my biggest thing going into the barrels, because if you bomb the whole thing, it's 5 seconds added to your time. That's huge. In barrel racing, people are winning only by point something seconds. Any amount of seconds added to your time is going to really cost you. We did really well in our pattern for the barrels, and we actually did really well in our pattern going to in ranch work. We actually ended up fourth in the ranch work, and UB was fabulous. Going into the ranch trail, I was pretty nervous because there was a lot that honestly we were pretty unprepared for. I had watched videos from past RRPs, and I had practiced those things like dragging the log, and it looked like you were just going up and back. There was bridges, there was a halt and a back and a side pass through like a chute. Then there was the cattle, opening gates and things like that. And for most of it, I felt pretty prepared. Unfortunately, before I'd signed up for a team penning clinic, basically like the weekend before we were supposed to leave, and we just had a ton of rain here, and unfortunately I wasn't able to go because it got canceled. So we weren't as prepared on the cattle as I would have hoped. So in the ranch, they actually put a calf roping dummy as the thing to drag, and they wanted you to drag it in a figure 8. And I was like, oh no, didn't practice that. And so you live and you learn. But like I said, we had set ourselves up really well in the pattern. So we just made attempts where we could. And he was nervous. There was a lot of things, different things, and a lot of fillers that kind of worried him, like mums. Again, he's not a spooky horse. He just was looking at them and took a second to take it all in. So our ranch trail score wasn't great, but we still ended up 9th. So top 10 finish in the ranch, and so thrilled with that. And then we moved on to the barrels, and we did struggle with the barrels all week long, particularly first barrel, because you're running right at a concrete white wall. And the barrels are only set up 2 strides off the wall, which is absolutely terrifying to send a green horse that close into the wall. For me and for him, because he has self-preservation. But since we did so well in our horsemanship pattern, although we were probably not the fastest horse out there, we still were able to place 4th, which moved us on to the finale. We got to warm up the day before the finale, and so I just decided we're just going to marry the wall. Trot to the wall, trot to the wall, trot to the wall, touch the wall, trot all the way to the wall and touch it. I was like, sorry, you're going to see a lot of me. Somebody was sitting in the stands, and she said, oh, okay, I have some treats. You want me to feed some treats to him? I'm like, do it. He's going to marry this wall. We are just going to do it. And anyway, so it ended up working out well for us, because he came out and ran his best pattern and best time in the finale, and I'm just so proud of him. He improved every single day. He was so game. The day of the finale, he came out and he warmed up fabulous. I was like, yep, it's our day. It's our day. We're going to do well. I try to make everything as simple as possible. Don't stress him out. Make him happy. Don't make him angry. Don't annoy the horse. And so I think that really worked out for us. So any advice for next year's aspiring trainers? Yeah, like I said, for trainers next year, get your horse broke on the flat really well. Whatever discipline, if it's jumping, if it's dressage, if it's ranch work, if it's barrels, just make sure your horse is really well broke on the flat. Your discipline doesn't matter if your horse is not broke on the flat. That's my main goal. I don't start any discipline-specific training until I know that they can do some lateral work, are riding well off my seat and my leg, and not so much hand. I want them to be using themselves because, again, if they're not able to do that stuff, then it's really hard to train. You have to have a good foundation to do anything, and I think that's the most important thing. Otherwise, the big things is that people need to read the rules, focus on really good horse care and horsemanship, and really, as long as you are diligent and mindful and the horse is coming first. I saw so many great people succeed this week. It was the best experience. I had so many great friends, and I made so many new friends. And don't be afraid to document your journey, whether it's good or it's bad. We never know. It's really hard to put yourself out there, but at the end of the day, like, for me, knowing where we started and being able to have that documented, UB used to canter around like a motorcycle, like we were motorcycling sideways going around, and for him to really figure out how to use his shoulders and his hind end and to make the turns that he did, I was just beyond thrilled. So seeing all that come together at the end and having evidence of what it was like before is just incredible. So document it. Don't be shy. Joining the RRP Chronicles with you guys was a huge step outside of my comfort zone. And I think more people should be willing to put themselves out there and do things that make you uncomfortable, because that's what helps you grow as a person and as a horse trainer. And I think you guys really helped me articulate myself better, because I'm not very articulate, and sometimes I think I'm weird. I am weird, but I'm grateful that you guys were willing to give me the chance to share my journey and share Pasture Place mission. And and I'm so thrilled to be a representative of OTTBs and advocating for them, because as time goes on, a lot of disciplines are becoming very highly specialized as far as any discipline: sport horses, Western horses, barrel horses, ranch horses, venters, jumpers, all of that. And Thoroughbreds have done a lot to improve all of these breeds, and I'm a big fan of the underdog. I'm always willing to give these guys a shot to prove everybody wrong. And I think doing things like this and doing the RRP and showing people how versatile the thoroughbred really is and what they're capable of is amazing. And I just hope that my journey has inspired someone else, even if it's just one person, to give a horse who might not be everybody's top choice a chance. A girl who, the barrels, Jessica Frederick, her horse had one eye. You know what I mean? So maybe that was a horse that a lot of people would have said, no, thank you. And he won the whole dang thing, and he was fast. Always a big fan of the underdog. Always got a chip on my shoulder, waiting to prove somebody wrong. And the thoroughbred has that heart where they're going to give that to you. They're going to let you prove everybody wrong. And once you give them a little bit of yourself, they're going to give you their whole self, and they're going to say, you believe in me, well, I believe in you. Let's go ahead. Let's do this. And I just love that about them. I'm so grateful that to everybody who's followed along, and I'm overwhelmed by all of the kindness and congratulations and messages and texts and everything. I'm over the moon. I'm so proud of this little horse. He will be staying with me for a little while longer. He is for adoption through Pasture Place. And I just can't wait to see what the future beholds.
All right. And up next, we have Annika Greaney and her two former broodmares, Tizso Majestic and Egoli. And they had really an unbelievable week as well. It sounds like all of the careful preparation and highlighting what the mares had natural aptitude really paid off. If you go back and listen to Annika's episodes, her methodical process of bringing the horses along and really paying attention to who they are as an individual really shone through. Egoli finished first in the barrel division and ran the fastest preliminary time of the week. Unfortunately, and I didn't know this,
Me either.
the rules are different from former broodmares and retired racehorses, so she did not get to run in the finals. She also finished fourth in the dressage division on her. And then Tessa was first in ranch work and had the sixth highest score in the whole competition in that division, and then went on to win her competitive trail division, which turned out to be quite a challenging course, and earned the fifth highest score overall as well. I think it's safe to say that both horses would have finished well in the finals if they were allowed to compete. We're so happy for you, Annika. Your mares are just such a shining example of what broodmares can do in their third career. And also a huge congratulations to Mareworthy. The work that you are doing is amazing. If you don't follow them on Facebook, you should. I know also they're currently looking for people that are interested in retraining a former broodmare for next year's makeover. So if you're interested, then check them out.
I also just wanted to say really quickly that if you're curious about how working with a retired broodmare is different than an off-the-track thoroughbred, some of Annika's earlier episodes with us, she goes into great detail about the differences in working with a broodmare. And I think it's maybe not for everybody, but it sounds incredibly rewarding for the horses that you connect with and seem to thrive with having another job in their life.
Yeah, and it fulfills a great need for, I think one of her mares was, I think it was Egoli, was very well bred, and I think it was Egoli, never actually got pregnant and produced a foal, but now she was able to go on and have another career. So that's very important. Both Neve and I have always been huge proponents that the more value that a horse has, and ways of adding value are by training it to do new things, seeing what it's good at, finding a purpose for it, then the safer it is overall.
Yeah.
So really awesome work that both Annika and Mareworthy are doing with these mares. We have a statement from Annika in her own words. She said, "I'm incredibly proud of the girls and how well both of them did. It was extra special this year being able to represent the former broodmares and show just how capable these awesome mares are. They showed they can compete with the best of them, and I'm really hoping I have been able to inspire more trainers to take broodmares in the future. Egoli stepped up big time and showed me a whole new caliber in her running. We received so many awesome comments and compliments after her run that really blew me away. I could not be happier with how the girls did. Bringing home 3 blue ribbons was more than I could have asked from them. They were true professionals all week, between Egoli's beautiful barrel runs and horsemanship pattern and Tessa smoking it out in the trail course. It's hard to pick a favorite moment. Take a broodmare, but also enjoy the process and prepare your horse for everything. There were things I didn't even think about, such as golf carts zipping around and the constant activity. The more your horse is exposed to different things, the better they will do. Take the time to go trail riding, attend events, find a crazy warm-up area to ride in. All the little things really help your horse be prepared." Thank you, Annika. It's a really great statement. Also, we chatted a little bit on Facebook, and I just said it's a real shame that I didn't realize, like we were just talking about, that the former broodmares weren't able to run in the finals, and obviously she agreed. And so hopefully some sort of amendment can be made to that rule.
Well, it would be nice even if they had their own finale or some comparative finale or something like that, because I really feel like you could be a retired broodmare and be quite young in your age. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're like 17 years old. Not that those horses can't go on to do something, but
stop being ageist, Neve.
No, but it's been really cool too. And one of the things that Chelsey says in her statement was, and I think a lot of horse people are this way, they don't really necessarily like talking about themselves, and they're a little bit shy interacting with people. And I think that one of the unexpected things that happened from collaborating with these 4 or 5 riders was that they got to have their own voice in a way that I think felt very safe for them and comfortable. And as time went on, I think they opened up more, and getting to share their journey in their own voice, I think is so special, because I think you can instantly connect to that when you hear somebody going through the ups and downs of retraining a young horse. And that's really our goal, right? Is to connect people that like off the track thoroughbreds. But I think that when you're doing the Retired Racehorse Project, sometimes you feel a little bit lonely, or people are doing more, or they're succeeding where you're having setbacks. And I think that it's nice to find a place to connect to other people that are going through it. So we're really happy that we were able to do that for you guys.
Neve's on our soapbox again.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, guys. It's the britches. I blame the britches.
Mm-hmm. Did they cut off circulation?
To my brain.
Just kidding.
And then we had the team of Julianne, Pangal, and Ashley Olin and their OTTB Brooklawn. They came back to the Kentucky Horse Park again after their successful trip to the AECs. They were in the dressage division and the show hunter division. And the dressage division is one of the largest in the Retired Racehorse Project. And Rye seems like he took it all in stride, finishing 21st out of 99 completions. There were like 140 riders and horses actually signed up.
Wild.
Also, I'm curious about this because I did see a lot of scratches, and I'm wondering if those were before the event started, or if they got there and decided maybe it was too much. So I am a little bit curious to chat with some of these gals about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure some of it is probably a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Where maybe some people withdrew after they did their final entry, and some people got there and something happened, or their horse was overwhelmed or whatnot. But to finish 21st out of 99 is huge.
Yeah, really huge. And then in the show hunter division, they finished 38th. The big win for Team Geneseo Gal Pals, their team name, was taking home top honors as the top ranked team for the whole competition. Congrats, ladies. We're so excited to see what's next for you guys in Rye. And he's a really young horse, and I really appreciate the fact that they varied his competition experience to really suit him at the stage of his training. And they were just so mindful about how to give him a lot of confidence in all of the big asks for him. So that's really cool.
Yeah. Another one that was just very thoughtfully produced for a big young horse, and seems like they really gave him every opportunity to succeed. Yeah.
And so we've got some feedback from Julianne. She said that she's so grateful for highlighting the versatility of the thoroughbred breed. It's amazing to see all of these beautiful horses that are competing successfully in multiple disciplines after only having 10 months of training. That said, there's some added pressure with being a trainer at the RRP. You want to do right by your horse, and the whole event is a showcase for the breed as a whole. I really enjoyed the process of bringing Rye along and participating in the RRP. The timeline is tough, and having the makeover as an end-of-year goal really makes you evaluate every event you are bringing your horse to. It makes you think about how every ride is bringing you closer to the competition. In terms of what she felt like was surprising or that she learned about her horse, she said, I'm not sure if there's anything specific that surprised me. I'm lucky to have been at the horse park before and attended the RRP as a non-competitor. That's a great point, actually. I was a little surprised by the scoring rubric for the hunters. Even though I read the rule book and understood how the discipline would be judged, it was interesting to see the scores on paper. There was a much heavier emphasis on horse suitability, relaxation, and way of going. I think that certain mistakes, like having lead changes that might kill you at a rated hunter show, were more flexible at the RRP. That's interesting.
That's interesting. It reminds me a little bit of maybe how the Young Event Horse series is structured, where if your horse maybe doesn't do the transition in dressage exactly at the letter, maybe they aren't penalized as much. Or I think they let them school a couple fences, or maybe present to the water first, etc. It's more about the suitability and the rideability and their way of going than like the things that in the real competition would mark you down. So I like that.
Yeah, and Chelsey talked a little bit about that in her clip as well. She said Rye's been eventing all summer and has more of a flat jump, which is the result of galloping along cross-country course and taking jumps in stride. We definitely could have focused more on getting him rounder and tightening up his form leading up to the show hunters to yield some higher scores. That said, I don't regret anything we did with his training and was happy with his rounds and wouldn't have made any different choices. I had a blast eventing, and I want my horses to be able to play in multiple disciplines. That's one of the things I really enjoy about those two girls, is that they just they dabble. It's really cool. She said in response to how she felt about his performance and the highlights that she experienced, Rye was a fantastic throughout our week at the horse park, and I couldn't have asked any more of him. We had some pilot errors in the show hunter that resulted in small mistakes like a rail and a swap change, but he did everything I asked. For dressage, Rye laid down his best test yet, and I was so proud of how soft and relaxed he felt. I was ecstatic about his stretchy trot circle. We all know how hard that is. And that's something we've been working on over the past few weeks. We were pleasantly surprised to win first place, highest scoring team for dressage too. The best part of the week was getting to do it all with my best friend. Oh, getting to do it all with a friend. Don't want to. The experience felt more special being shared with Ashley, plus sharing the work, braiding, bathing, hand walking, stall cleaning, etc. made it all a little easier too. If you were on the fence about trying to do the makeover, I would highly recommend doing it with a friend. Hint, hint, Emily.
We'll see. She's trying to get me out of retirement, guys. I don't know.
And then any advice for next year's aspiring trainers? She said, relax, have fun, and remember that the makeover is not the end. I have to keep reminding myself that Rye is only 4. Whether he's sold or stays with me, he has so much more time to smash new goals or try new things. Thank you.
I'm secretly hoping that they'll stay together.
And now let's hear from Ashley in her own words.
Something I learned about being at the RRP, it's true what they say is that everybody is so nice. That was really refreshing, again, thinking about how I am used to feeling at horse shows about how I don't know enough or I don't have a nice enough horse or just insecurities that I've always felt about horse showing went completely out the window. Everybody was so nice and so welcoming, and truly nobody had a mean thing to say about another horse. We made some acquaintances. I sat on some horses. I'm starting to shop for a new one myself, and everybody was just really nice. And I think, again, understanding of what the journey is of taking a horse off the track and giving it a new career in such a short amount of time. We were really pleased with how Rye showed at the RRP. I think that he did exactly as we asked, and we're both adult amateurs. So I think it personally for me, and I'm sure Julianne would probably say the same, we owned our mistakes, and he is a green thoroughbred. So there's only so much you can expect. But he was awesome. I don't think he really put a foot out of place the whole weekend. He looked great. He's a horse that we worked really hard on his body condition over the summer of making sure that he was being ridden an appropriate amount of times and also getting enough grain and nutrition. And I think that he really looked good. And he's a horse that I was proud to stand behind as the one that I was here horse showing. But yeah, he felt great. He moved great. And I think that as far as the level of education that he had going into the event, I think that he was pretty well prepared. I think advice for aspiring trainers, honestly, doing it with a friend as a team was really fun. Julianne and I talked about this when we were down there, is that obviously if you go as an individual, everybody is super nice and you can make friends and develop a group of people. But it was really nice for us to do it together because we would school and then we would go walk around and then we would drink wine and talk in front of our stall, and then we would go watch other divisions, and it was just really fun to do it with a really close friend. And I think that it took a lot of pressure off too. We shared the work, we shared the expenses, so it was really fun to be able to share that with a friend. So to an aspiring trainer, I guess my advice would be to partner up with somebody who you work well with, that your riding styles complement each other, and have a great time. Other advice, I think that talking to other trainers and just getting to meet their horses and hear about their process. We learned some interesting training tips from other people. For instance, we were talking to a trainer who her horse is getting under the bit a lot, curling his neck. And so she told us that something she's been doing is putting a pool noodle on her martingale so that he isn't able to do that as much, which I thought was funny. And she was like, oh yeah, we saw somebody do that at a horse show. And I decided to try it. So I think that talking to other trainers, she was super nice. She also gave me some tips on braiding, so that was nice. But yeah, talk to people, consider the team option, and watch disciplines that you're not familiar with. That's really interesting too. We watched one of the people that we ended up trailering down with. She competed in the freestyle division, and the freestyle is crazy. People put so much work into their routines and just the most insane things you can think of. The winner this year did a Cinderella routine where they made this huge carriage that was lit up with string lights that the horse kind of rode through, and then they had the horse try on a glass slipper by having it stand up on a pedestal. They all were in costume, so just like crazy elaborate things that really make you see the versatility of thoroughbreds. I think another tip would be to just watch what you can. I think it was special to me to be a trainer at the RRP representing thoroughbreds, because thinking about my background and upbringing as a rider, I didn't get to ever partake in the away show experience of shipping your horse in and staying at a horse show for multiple days. I showed like once a year on a school horse, and I always felt like an imposter because I was up against the kids whose parents were paying for a really nice warm blood lease, or the kids that just had more money than me. And I say that knowing how lucky I was to be riding as frequently as I was as a kid, but it's an expensive sport at the end of the day. And so I think that to be at the RRP, it gave me a sense of community and of a shared experience that I've never really felt horse showing before, because I knew that everybody came from the same place. Of we all went through this journey of picking up an off-track thoroughbred for minimal money as it goes in the scheme of buying horses, and we all put in the same 10 months or less of education into this horse, and we all are here and we're making the best of what we've got. And so I think for me that was really nice, because it's not something I have ever felt at a horse show before.
Julianne and Ashley, we really appreciated getting to know you guys as a team and learn about how that functions. And you guys sound like a very dynamic duo.
And then we have a little note about Lauren Garrett-Bond and Tisbet. Unfortunately, she had to withdraw right before the makeover. Everything's fine. I think they just had some bad timing in the way that only horses can plan out. So they were unable to make the trip.
But Lauren lives close to us, and we're just going to be annoying her from here on out.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, Lauren, you're stuck with us. And then we will also have an update on Kathy Goodman. She wasn't officially one of our RRP Chronicle trainers, but we did have an episode with her a little while back. We will be chatting with her and find out how everything went. I think she was also going through her judging process that same week.
Oh, wow.
As another mare-worthy mare. So that will be interesting to find out as well.
For sure. Okay, what's next? We've got the Maryland 5-star going on this week. So we thought it would be fun to highlight some of the thoroughbreds that are competing in the 5-star and the 3-star. First up, we've got Jenny Brannigan and Twilight's Last Gleam. And I don't think they need much of an introduction because they are constantly pulling at the heartstrings of every thoroughbred lover around the country and maybe even the world, but we will be looking for them to have a really good outing this time around. Buck Davidson is riding Sorikema. I don't think this is the first time at the 5-star level, but he's looking really fit and full of running, so that'll be exciting. Joe Meyer is riding his little gray, I don't know if he's little, but he looks little in videos, Harbin. I'm obsessed with this horse. He's so cute, and seeing them at Kentucky, which I think was their first 5-star earlier this year, I just was like, I need to have him on the podcast right away. And he does want to be on the podcast. So look for him in the future. Maybe we'll do a little Joe Meyer stalking when we're at Maryland. And then last but not least, we've got Jessica Phoenix and Wabbit. And I think it's safe to say, if you love thoroughbreds, you love this horse. 4 of the 24 horses entered in the 5-star are full thoroughbred. And Emily, who do you like in the bunch?
It's a tough call, but I think I'm going to have to vote for our local gal, Jenny, and Twilight's Last Gleam. They are such a great pair. And that horse, I believe, did not race. I think he's a purpose-bred thoroughbred, which is super cool. Locally bred here in Pennsylvania as well. So, yeah, I'll be cheering all of them on. Be diplomatic. And I also love Wabbit. Yeah. So, can't go wrong.
That horse just looks like it lives for cross country.
Yeah, he looks super fun. And then in the 3-star, there are 55 entries total, and 7 of those are thoroughbreds. So there is Tracy Bieneman. She has 2, Venezuelan River and Menlo Park.
Menio
Park?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think.
And next is Rory Frangus and Monty's Tune, Megan Swab and Nuance, Emily Ballard and Sexy Swing and Walk, Sally Cousins and Wizard, and also Allie Knowles and September Venture. We will be there on Friday watching some dressage and checking out the young event horse 5-year-old division. And on Saturday, we'll be hanging out by our tailgate spot in the middle hayfield, spot C9. We are going to bring a little bit of OTTB On Tap merch to show you guys. We're having a fun scavenger hunt, and there will be a keg. I mean, we are a beer-themed podcast, which we haven't even gotten into yet. But yeah, there will be a keg. And stop by, say hello on your way to or from the backside of the course.
Yeah, we're going to be right in the middle by the coffin, I think is where we're at. It's a great area because I think really the finish line is usually over in that area. So you get to see a lot of horses going back and forth, and come say hello to us.
And if you're walking all the way back from the crab water, you're going to be like, I really need a beer at this point.
Yes.
So it won't cost you $18 like it will at the crab water.
Oh, that's true.
Am I allowed to say that? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. It will cost you no dollars.
Plus you get to hang out with us 2 weirdos.
Yeah. We'll be the ones hiding. Kidding. Just kidding.
I'll be sure to post a picture of our view from our tailgate spot. So if you guys want to come and creep around us or just look at us from afar, or take a photo from a distance, that's totally fine too.
And don't forget the scavenger hunt. That actually is going to be fun. And we will have a prize for that. And
yeah, we're prototyping our merch a little bit. So we thought a scavenger hunt would be a fun way to explore some of that. Yeah, exactly. We've got a lot going on at the moment. Finally, we are narrowing down the content that we're making for our Patreon, and we hope that you guys will follow us over there once that starts up. OTTB On Tap Evaluates will be exclusively released as a part of the launch, and we're still deciding on the other bonus episodes. Don't forget, you'll still get 2 regular episodes per month on our regular feed, and we're going to do at least 1 more OTTB On Tap Evaluates before the launch of our Patreon.
Anything else?
I think that's it for this week.
How do the lovely Canter Culture riding pants feel that you're still wearing?
They're buttery soft, and I can't wait to ride in them.
She is actually being serious.
That's what they used to always say about what was that MLM with the leggings?
What?
LuLaRoe or whatever it was with the
Lululemon?
No. There were these leggings that everybody...
like, what?
Okay, I've derailed, guys.
I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Your buttery soft leggings. Anyway, they're really nice pants. If you like what you heard today, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or even on Facebook. You can follow OTTB On Tap on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, and contact us with interview candidates, topic suggestions, and more at OTTBOnTap.com. Don't forget to submit your horse to be evaluated by us, and we love hearing from you.
Bye, everyone.
See you at Maryland.
Yeah, see you at Maryland.